Frau Müller. Heute sprechen wir über die Futur. Today we're going to talk about the future tense. So there are actually two ways to form the future tense, and one we've actually been doing all along. All you do is indicate a time element that is going to occur sometime in the future, such as tomorrow or this afternoon or on Friday. Okay, that's one way to make the future tense. We've actually already been doing that, but there's another way, and we're going to learn that today, and that is using a verb called werden. Werden is not a regular verb. It's a little irregular, so that's why we need to sort of learn about it. So please click on the link that was above this video and get your notes and follow along. Complete your notes with me, and please complete the guided practice. So here we go. Future, the future eins or future one, is used to express events that will take place anytime after the present, which would be the future. It works similarly to modal verbs, which is something we're also studying in chapter 6 of this book. Just like modal verbs, we use two verbs in each sentence. Okay, two verbs are necessary to form the future one. And just like the modal verbs, we have an infinitive, right? Gehen or spielen or lesen, and that infinitive goes at the end of the sentence. Now, just to make sort of a comparison, in English, we use the word will to form the future. We don't necessarily need the word will to make the future. You could just say, I'm playing soccer on Friday. And if today is Tuesday, then that's a future tense. We also could say, I will play soccer on Friday. Okay, so will is used in English, and in German we use the verb werden. Here it is over here in the second sentence. Ich werde nach Hause gehen. And that simply means I will go home. Okay, so just like with the modal verbs, the infinitive goes right after the future tense in English, but in German it gets shoved to the end. Here's the present tense. Ich gehe nach Hause. I am going home. Ich werde nach Hause gehen. Okay, so here werde gets conjugated, right, in the second position in the sentence, and the verb gehen gets thrown to the end. So here I have werden conjugated for you. I'm going to give you a few minutes to write down those conjugations. As you're writing them down, you'll notice that it's kind of like a stem changing verb. In the ich and all of the plural forms, notice the stem stays werd, W-E-R-D, and that is consistent with the stem of werden, okay? So the stem of werden stays the same in the ich and all the plural forms, which is just kind of like a stem changing verb. But in the du and the RCS form, it changes, okay? It changes from W-E-R to W-I-R. And there's also a couple other changes that happen, okay? So you'll notice in the du form, we have wirst, W-I-R-S-T, and in the RZS form, we have wird. There's actually no T at the end. In fact, a long time ago, there was a T. However, a DT ending does not sound any different than just a D ending. So over time, the T just dropped off of the spelling. Du wirst, wird. And again, this is what we use to make the future tense. All right. This just indicates that there is a stem change in the do and the RZS form, which is why I have a little star. You might want to put a little star in your notes just to kind of have that jump out at you. So, just as I explained before, should a conversation imply events that will take place in the future, present tense is used. But you also can use werden. It's sort of a choice you have. So, here's an example. Wir spielen morgen Fußball. We would translate as that we're playing soccer tomorrow, or we will play soccer tomorrow. You also could say, im Herbst fahren wir nach Frankreich. In the fall, we're traveling to France. Okay? So, anyway, here we go with our new verb werden. Okay? We're going to describe what Sabina will do after school. Again, will is what we use in English to indicate the future tense. In German, we use the verb werden. Okay? So, Sabina is going to be the subject of all these sentences. So, I'm going to get my text box. And I'm going to start off with Sabina. Oops. Now I need to conjugate werden to go with Sabina. I could look up here at the top of my notes, and I have to figure out where would Sabina be. Well, she's definitely singular. She's on this side. I'm not Sabina. I'm not talking to her. If I would say use the word you. I'm talking about her. So this would be the correct form of werden. All right. So I would have Sabina wird. Now I have my phrase here, Rockmusik hören. I need to figure out which of those words am I going to use first. Well, just like modal verbs, werden takes the infinitive and throws it to the end of the sentence. So Rockmusik would be my next word, along with the final hören. Okay? I don't have a German keyboard on my work computer, so I just put an E after the word O, and that just indicates that there is a sound there, an umlaut. Okay? Sabina wird Rockmusik hören. You try it. Wunderbar. Wunderbar. Okay, next up, Hausaufgaben machen. So we're going to say Sabina will do her homework. So we're going to start off again with Sabina. How do we conjugate werden in the RCS form? That's right, wird. Now, in English, the infinitive comes right after. She will do. But in German, it doesn't go there. It goes at the end. So Hausaufgabe, or Hausaufgaben will be my next word, along with machen at the end. Notice how I capitalized Hausaufgaben because that's a noun. Okay, nouns are capitalized in German, just like Rockmusik, and that's important to remember. Okay, Nummer 3. We're going to say that Sabina is going to play tennis with Petra. So, get my little text editor here, starting off with Sabina. Conjugate werden to go with Sabina, and that will just like be the other ones, like wird. And now, what is she going to do? She's going to play tennis with Petra. So in English, we say she will play. Does spielen come next in German? Nope, it gets thrown to the end. So I'm going to continue with mit Petra Tennis spielen. Wonderful. All right, I'm going to pause the video. I'd like you to finish 4, 5, and 6, and then come back and check your answers. Did you get Sabina wird ein Fernsehprogramm sehen? Make sure your sehen is at the end. Wird is conjugated to go with Sabina. You say it. Wunderbar. Sabina wird ihre Freunde treffen. You say it. Wunderbar. Nummer 6. Sabina wird ein Buch lesen. You say it. Sehr gut. All right. If you have any questions, you might want to come to a Zoom and state those questions there. But right now, we're going to move on to the second guided practice. Here, we're going to use the future tense to indicate when events will take place. Notice that the time is going to go right after the verb werden. Remember, time does not go at the end of the sentence like it does in English. So the example says, zum Beispiel, wir gehen zum Imbiss. Okay, meaning we are going to the snack stand or the food truck. And we're going to add in heute Nachmittag, and we're going to put this in the future tense using werden. So wir is the subject of the sentence. I'm going to conjugate werden to go with wir, and of course it just stays like the infinitive form. Wir werden, I'm going to throw in my time element, heute Nachmittag, today afternoon. In English we would say this afternoon, zum Imbiss gehen. Notice my infinitive gets thrown at the end. In my original sentence, it was here conjugated to go with werden. Now it's thrown at the end in the infinitive form. All right, so let's check out Nummer 1. We have Anke besucht ihre Freundin. You say it. Gut. That means Anke is going to visit her female friend. So we're going to throw in there werden. Where will werden go? That's right. It's going to go in the conjugated verb section. It's going to replace besucht. What will happen to besucht? It's going to get thrown to the end of the sentence. And where will am Sonntag go? Right after the conjugated verb. It's going to go before the object. The object is her female friend. This time element goes before that. So let's start with our subject, Anke. Anke is one person. So we're going to conjugate werden to agree with Anke. You can go back to your notes at the top and see how we're going to conjugate werden It's on the singular side. Do you see it? There it is, wird. Okay, so I'm going to go back down to my question Nummer 1. Anke wird. What's going to come next? Now, a lot of people probably want to put ihre Freundin, but something's going to go in before that. That's right, the time element. Sonntag. Now comes the object, ihre Freundin. And if you look in the original sentence, besucht was the original verb right here, besucht. And what will be the infinitive form of that? That's right, besuchen. I can spell it right. Besuchen, meaning to visit. Great. Anke wird am Sonntag ihre Freundin besuchen. You say it. Wunderbar. Anke wird am Sonntag ihre Freundin besuchen. Nummer 2. So we have eine Rockgruppe spielt in Köln. A rock group is playing in Cologne. Okay, we're going to change this to the future tense, add werden to the mix. Werden will take the place of the conjugated verb spielt here. And we're going to add our time element. Time element is going to go right after the verb. So let's start with our subject. Eine Rockgruppe, a rock group. Now we need to conjugate werden. Now, Rockgruppe is not on our verb chart, but it is one rock group, so it's singular. Where will we find Rockgruppe? Well, I'm not a rock group. I'm not talking to a rock group. I'm talking about a rock group. I could actually substitute Rockgruppe with this pronoun sie, because it's a feminine noun, but in this case it would be changed to it, right? It will, meaning the rock group will. So in this case, I'm going to use the werden form wird. Die Rockgruppe wird. Now, in our sentence, we have spielt. Of course, wird took the place of that. And the following comes right after, in Köln. But we're going to add something before we talk about the predicate. That's right, we're going to add our time element. In 2 Tagen. In 2 Tagen means in 2 days. Add our in Köln. And what gets thrown to the end? The main verb in the sentence. Do you see the main verb? Yeah, it's right here. Spielt. Are we just going to write spielt here at the end? No, we need to put it in the infinitive form, and it will be spielen. Sehr gut. All right, why don't you try 3, 4, 5, and 6 by yourself? We'll stop the video, and then come back and check your answers. The correct answer was, wir werden heute Morgen zum Kaufhaus gehen. We will go to the department store this morning. Okay, very different word order than what we say in English. Check your work. Nummer 4. Kai und Tina werden im Winter nach Italien fahren. Okay, fahren, the infinitive gets thrown into the end. Werden gets conjugated to go with the subject, Kai und Tina. That's a plural subject. Im Winter is going to come before where we're going to travel, in this case, to Italy. Nummer 5. Ich werde am Dienstag Bücher kaufen. You try to say it. Nice work. Werden gets conjugated to go with the subject, ich. Kaufen gets thrown to the end of the sentence. Am Dienstag is the time element, comes right after the verb. And then what we're going to be buying, the object, Bücher, with a capital B, because German words German nouns are capitalized. And Nummer 6. Mein Lehrer wird morgen eine Stunde später kommen. You try it. Okay, and check your work. Did you conjugate werden to go with mein Lehrer? Okay, one male teacher. Wird, you're talking about him. Kommen, your infinitive gets thrown to the end of the sentence. Okay, and morgen is your time element, tomorrow. All right, I hope that you did well. If you didn't, check your work, make your corrections, and there will be more assignments later on this week. Please use these notes and guided practice to help you. All right, I'm going to wish you a pleasant day noch. Schönen Tag noch. Auf Wiedersehen.